Hey guys, this is Dr. Andy with AG Thrive. I'm happy to be here with you and hoping to offer some real value and helping you to grow the life, love, family, and success you want and deserve. And today's topic is going to be about how to get out of being hard on yourself and how to have a mindset where you're actually likely to make the change that you need to be or be the change that you need to be, right? So this kind of refers to, those times where you make a mistake. You didn't do, the thing that you said you're going to do. For me, sometimes going to bed at the time that I thought I was going to go or told myself to go to bed at, right? And then I find myself really just beating myself up afterwards. Man, yet again, you said you were going to go to sleep a little bit earlier so you could get the full 7.5, 8 hours of sleep, and the more that I kind of get down on myself, right, not only is it kind of a bad headspace to be in, but there's actually clear research that the more you beat yourself up, the more self-critical you are, the more judgmental, it actually decreases the likelihood that I'm going to get it right the next night, right? In fact, it increases the likelihood that I'm going to make the same mistake over and over again. And I think what I often see, and I can certainly appreciate and relate to myself, but clients will often say, but if I'm not hard on myself, how am I ever going to change, right? It's almost like I'm trying to hold myself accountable and that guilt feels in some way like necessary or healthy. And I do think there is such a thing as like healthy guilt, right? Feeling that immediate sense of, hey, I made a mistake or I wasn't aligned with, kind of my value or goal here. But as soon as you feel that, acknowledge like, hey, what happened? Why didn't I, do what I said I was going to do? And then try and course correct. So I'm going to commit the next day to doing this instead. I'm going to do, a different course of action. And then you need to move into a place of self-compassion, right? Of just choosing to love yourself. People that exercise consistent self-compassion, right, in those moments, they are much, much, much more likely to actually have a different behavior or result the next time around, right? And in some ways I can see it might seem a little counterintuitive because, well, if I'm just loving myself and accepting myself all the time, like where's the impetus for change, right? But hopefully I've covered, there is a certain measure or amount of like self-guilt or feeling bad that I think is healthy. It's just once you stay in there and get overly rigid in that, right, that's where it becomes unhealthy, and that's where you're actually increasing the likelihood that you just keep making the same, kind of mistakes or, staying in the bad habits over and over again. So, that's really, I think, what I wanted to cover is just having a model, having a tool or kind of a way of looking at when you make a mistake, when you don't follow through on something that you said you're going to follow through on, how to actually have a mindset that's going to create the change. And I would say, the idea of having we call it an if-then implementation strategy. So as soon as you address why didn't I follow through, right? What was the situation, the context, what was the reason why I didn't do what I said I was going to do? And then if you identify what that is, right? I stayed up too late watching TV. So the if-then implementation strategy would be, if it's 10 o'clock, right, all electronics go off, I read for 20 minutes, and then I immediately, get ready to go to bed. So, but in order for that to actually work, like you have to actually create the if-then. You have to rehearse it in your mind, so, and then probably put a reminder. So on your phone or something like that, at 10 o'clock, alarms start shooting off. It's time for everything to shut down. I love the idea. If you really want to commit to that, you can do something like, unplug the TVs at nighttime, right? So that you have to take the extra step of actually going to plug the TV in to watch it, so that's like an extra layer of commitment. And so it makes you really stop to think through, is this really what I want to do? There is one other dynamic on this that I want to try and address as quickly as I can, and that's related to, so I think what I've talked about so far is when you don't follow through, you either do or don't do something that you had intended to do, and you're getting down on yourself for that, right? But there's other instances where you can also get really down on yourself, but it's related to things that sometimes seem or really are out of your control, right? as someone that runs my own business, right? Like I could have a week, an expected week of what I'm going to do, and then I get a series of cancellations or, no shows or just whatever, that totally derails that week, and it's like, and it can be very deflating. You can start to feel, I think frustrated, and feel like you're off target, right? And, your energy that you bring into, whether it be a business, whether it be your family, right, largely dictates the kind of quality, of your business or your family, right? So if all of a sudden I'm starting to get really down and frustrated and all these things, I've seen this happen over and over again, the phone calls, the referrals, all that stuff start to dry up. It's a crazy thing, but it's consistently true. So this reminds me of a saying that my grandpa used to say to me when I was a little kid. And, I certainly didn't fully embrace or understand it when he said it. I just thought it was kind of funny because I thought my grandpa was like kind of taking a dig at me in a very loving way. But he used to say, if in any way I ever complained about being bored or anything like that, he would say, if you're bored, it's because you're boring, right? As I got older, I really understood that to mean that if I'm not, having fun, if I'm not, kind of in a place where I'm feeling inspired or whatever, I cannot expect to be inspired. I cannot wait for other people to entertain me. I need to go out and be the entertainment. I need to be fun, right? I need to go out and be successful. And so I think that's applicable to this whole dynamic here too, is if you're having a difficult week and you just are having things happen that are frustrating, disappointing, and they're off track, right? They're just, and you're really feeling down about it, I think reminding yourself, hey, I'm still committed to, living a great life. I'm still committed to my goal, my vision, which of course assumes you have a vision, which if you don't have a vision, I'd also say start there, create a vision. We are happiest when we are pursuing meaningful goals. So we need to have those. We need to have the hope of something we're moving towards, right? So recommitting yourself to that and saying, hey, I didn't have the week I thought I was going to have, but what can I do right now to start to get myself back on track to have an amazing week next week or a great day tomorrow, But that's kind of just taking ownership, responsibility for the life you have, the relationships you have, and not staying stuck. Staying stuck is the worst. Really, it's the cause of most of, the phone calls I come in, whether that means you're stuck in depression or anxiety or in a bad relationship or a crappy job, whatever it might be. Feeling stuck and like there's nothing you can do, powerless, is just an awful feeling. So reclaiming that power and recommitting to your values, your priorities, and your vision and taking action on that is an awesome way to get back on track. So that's Dr. Andy with AG Thrive. I really hope you got some value out of this. I appreciate you sharing this time with me, and please, contact us if in any way we can be helpful and a resource for you to grow the life, love, family, and success that you want. Thanks.